Hey guys, in case you haven't heard, everyone and their moms is talking about the lady that freaked out on the plane. Including my mom, she came to me and asked, have you seen this? And of course, I have. But I assumed, as the logical, scientific person that I am, that the lady was just drunk and probably could have been going through a little bit of something. So she went into a little bit more detail about the conspiracy side of things that I really hadn't. So I started doing a little bit of digging into this. So first, there are a few possible explanations. One, she was drunk and had an altercation with somebody. Two, she's had some sort of mental break or has some underlying mental health issue. Three, she indeed did see something supernatural, such as a lot of people speculated that it was a reptilian, but it could be a shapeshifter or something else. So first, let me show you the original video.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to. Bye. See you. I'm here to fucking see you after this. See what happens. See what happens after this. See what happens. Where's your bag? Is your bag on your truck? See what happens after this. I don't even give a fuck about my shit. I'm a licensed attorney. Just be careful. I'm a licensed attorney. Give me a fuck off. No, I'm getting the fuck off. There is a stupid fucking dude right here. No. Yeah. I don't give
So when this first popped up, we didn't know who she was actually talking about. A lot of people were saying that she doesn't appear drunk, but obviously we don't know her. We don't know how she is when she's drunk. We don't know how she handles her alcohol, so it's kind of hard to speculate. Like, no one's coming forward. She herself isn't coming forward and explaining any of the situation. So a man came forward claiming to be on the flight and explaining what he saw from the situation. A lot of people were believing this, but it turns out that it appears to be some sort of social experiment, according to the man that posted this, if you actually look at the caption of the video.
Okay, here's the story time for you. I've tried like 2 times to record this, but I keep going over the 3-minute limit, and I don't want to do a part 1, part 2 type thing, so I'm going to try to be specific. I was on that flight. It was American Airlines. We were leaving Dallas-Fort Worth. I was sitting in the left aisle, about 3 rows back from this woman. She was sitting in the right aisle, and she had this very interesting exchange with some dude in a hoodie. I don't remember the color of the hoodie. I really, you know how memory is. When you're not super paying attention, you don't remember all the details. I had one headphone in, couldn't hear all the specifics of what happened, but I noticed this exchange between this woman and this dude in a hoodie. And it was kind of weird at the time because it seemed like no one else before she really started getting frantic, like, was paying attention to this, but that makes sense. It was like a normal flight. This was after putting all the luggage away. We'd been on the plane for a little bit. It was before the flight attendant came over and gave the little spiel. And what I remember is she was having like a full-blown conversation with this dude in the hoodie. I'll call him the hoodie guy. She was having a full-blown conversation with hoodie guy. The weird thing was that he never once said a fucking word to her the whole time. And at the time, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it. But it was like it's like she would say something and he like would respond, but there was no exchange happening. It was just her getting more and more frantic. Which, okay, if she's drunk and she's going crazy, then you would think the dude in the hoodie would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? But he was just like dead locked on her, like deep eye contact with her, like I don't want to feed into the conspiracies here, but like almost like she was like in a hypnosis type of thing. And she started getting more and more frantic to the point where then people started kind of noticing. Flight attendant came over, tried to calm her down, like, what's going on? She sat back down, but she kept looking over at this dude in the hoodie, and finally she was like done with it. And that's like when I really started paying attention, like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And that's when she was like, I can't do this. She started getting up. She started walking up to the front. And then the whole video thing happened. I didn't take a video of it. I was listening to a Stephen King audiobook. I wasn't like pulling out my phone to record this. And she didn't seem drunk to me, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I didn't see her drink. I mean, she seemed totally normal to me up until that point. The weird thing was after she left the plane, the dude in the hoodie, which the flight attendant was like, did anything happen? And he still didn't say a word. He just went like, and like shrugged. The dude in the hoodie like looked around the plane and he looked back at me and he winked at me. And again, I didn't quite register it. I was like, okay, what the fuck was that about? I was like, maybe he's just being like an ass, like winking, like that was weird, wasn't it? But now that I look back, I realized that when he winked at me and it was his left eye looking back at me, it didn't wink like this. It winked like this. And I didn't even register.
So this is the close-up of the alleged guy in the green hoodie who was the supposed reptilian or shapeshifter person that she's talking about. Now, it's not known if he was actually from the original video because there are some videos circulating that aren't from the same flight. So, he definitely is real. His eyes look to open normally. The irises just look a little bit enlarged, but nothing reptilian or shapeshiftery. Now, there's probably just some sort of normal explanation to this, but the thing that I find weird is how come we haven't heard her come forward or anyone she knows personally come forward to explain? So, what actually has happened to this woman?
Everyone keeps saying that if they were on the plane with the distraught woman, that they would have got off with her. But here's the thing. Ever since the incident, the woman has been missing. The plane landed safely, and all passengers got off and got all of their luggage. The missing woman, however, wasn't even worried about her belongings. She hasn't been seen or heard of since. There is no record of her being arrested. No one spotted her walking through the airport or getting into an Uber or a taxi cab for that matter. How could someone vanish into thin air after that incident? All passengers were forced to get off the plane. Authorities and staff were forced to go through all suitcases before passengers were able to board again. The 3 stewardesses aboard the plane were not allowed to board again, which I find highly suspicious. The accused shapeshifter has not came forward to clear his name. One thing is for certain, there are more questions now than there were when the incident first began.
Even if there is evidence to suggest she could be drunk or experience psychotic symptoms, it still is most likely the explanation that it is of one of the two scenarios.
The lady on the airplane, did she really see shape-shifting lizard people? No, she said that because she wanted off the plane and she was trying to get others to join her in wanting off the plane because they weren't giving her what she wanted. If she didn't see anything, why is she acting so afraid? She's actually showing few, if any, fear signs here. I've seen people say, oh, you can hear it in her voice when she's saying that. One, you can obviously hear the effects of possibly alcohol, maybe alcohol mixed with a prescription medication having a bad effect. But that high tone to her voice is very likely also an attempt to control anger that's escalating and getting close to being out of control. When you first see her walking up the aisle in this video, she is showing no indicators at all that she is feeling any fear or sense of threat to anything that's behind her on the plane. She is showing agitation and aggression toward the flight staff who aren't giving her what she wants. That's why she turns it on to the rest of the passengers to try to get them to go along with it. Very likely she was agitated when she first showed up at the airport because of something that had gone on earlier. She may or have fear of flying. The report that she was knocking down drinks beforehand, that could be to take the edge off, to settle herself down. And instead of settling her down, it actually made her belligerent. If you're around a variety of people who drink recreationally, you know what I'm talking about. Some people mellow out and relax. Other people become belligerent, become putting those words in her mouth. She just said that person's not real. She's trying to scare the other passengers into joining her and wanting to get off the plane. Why has no one seen her since then? Why would we? She just humiliated herself and she became an online joke. She probably wants to crawl into a hole somewhere and not be seen for months. But there's an additional problem here for her. She just got the attention of conspiracy theorists who believe in the deep state stuff that they're pushing onto this one. If she were to come forward and apologize and say, I had too much to drink, I didn't really see anything, I was just freaking out and needed off the plane, felt like I was on the verge of a panic attack, which also could be true, there would be people who would try to threaten her into telling the truth because they would feel she had sold out to the deep state, just like people did with the Sandy Hook families. She needs to lay low.
But to give the conspiracy theorists the benefit of the doubt, they claim that she didn't seem drunk or crazy, and, you know, the green hooded man that we mentioned, and that when they reboarded the plane, they had 3 completely new flight attendants. They wouldn't let the original ones back on. Why did they restaff the flight if there wasn't something up? I don't know, that seems a little weird to me. It's not supernatural, but maybe there is something that's trying to be covered up. But as for why no one's come forward in relation to this woman or her herself, maybe she was embarrassed and that's why she didn't come forward, and now it's just gone way too far that she doesn't know what to do, and makes me wonder, maybe this cool supernatural stuff is actually real. You know, since no one was harmed, everything was fine, I think that would be kind of cool if that was real. But I don't know, what do you guys think? I think that this is just something that kind of went a little too far. Again, deep down it still makes me wonder, even though I'm not a crazy conspiracy theorist. There are some things that are just a little too weird that makes you, could this be real? Could we override the simple, easy, logical explanations for it? Who knows? Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you for the next case or spooky story.